Hey you guys, it's Thursday, July 13th, and I have some pretty cool news. I finally got a stand. Well, a tripod. Finally got a tripod, so it's on. I'm testing out the tripod with this video, and hopefully I'll learn how to use it a little bit more properly and accurately. I also got a second job. So now I work at Dollar Tree as well as Marquee, which is fun. Anyway, I'm gonna jump right in today's video because I'm exhausted. And I'm like very exhausted because I don't even remember what I typed up earlier in the computer for the conspiracy theories. Anyway, so like I just said, it's conspiracy theories. The two I'm going to talk about is Area 51 and the aliens, as well as the JFK assassination. So out of the two, I'm going to talk about Area 51 and the aliens first. I have it typed up because I knew I'd be exhausted. Alright, so basically, it's believed that the remains of crashed UFOs are stored in Area 51 and that the government scientists have reverse engineered the aliens' highly advanced technology. And there has been evidence that has come from a variety of UFO sightings, as well as a testimony from a retired Army colonel who claims that he was given access to extraterrestrial materials gathered from the UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And further proof is that the government is claiming that Area 51 is classified for national security, and it's seen as the military is hiding aliens and or alien spacecrafts. So that's about it with Area 51, and honestly, I actually do believe that one, and I am a believer in aliens. Because we may be a form of life on Earth, we're not the only form of life in our galaxy or other galaxies. There's forms of life everywhere. That's at least what I believe. So I completely 100% believe in the conspiracy with Area 51. Now the JFK assassination, there's 5 that actually go with this. It's a big conspiracy, but there's 5 separate theories. And the first one is that the Soviets were behind his assassination. And there's multiple things about what this is that, like, at the time Kennedy was assassinated, we were in a Cold War with the Soviets. The Soviet premier at the time was Nikita Khrushchev, and supposedly, that's the word, he was supposedly embarrassed by having to back down during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and because of his embarrassment, he ordered the assassination on Kennedy. I don't honestly think that's very likely, but it's part of it. What also makes people believe that the Soviets were behind his assassination is the fact that Lee Harvey Oswald, who is the guy who did actually assassinate President Kennedy, he had connections to the USSR. Oswald himself wasn't a Soviet. He was, a natural-born U.S. citizen. He was a Marine, but he's visited the USSR several occasions, and his wife is originally from there. So that's another thing. But a former KGB agent did come out years later and said that the Russians had no part in his assassination at all. So I guess there's proof somewhere that there was no way that it was possible for it. The second one I think is a... There's a couple in here that I do think is hilarious. This is the one of two. One of two. And this one is that the Mafia did it, because I do feel this is a little bit highly unlikely. And essentially why people believe that the Mafia was behind it is that the mob didn't like the Attorney General at the time, who was JFK's brother Robert Kennedy, and they hoped that he would lose his influence if JFK was dead. And there's a theory out there that the CIA had asked the Mafia to carry out the Kennedy assassination, but there's also another theory that the mob was paid to kill Kennedy by anti-Castro Cubans, which both of those are probably kind of But a few years later, the Warren Commission ruled out that the Mafia did not have a part in the plot to kill Kennedy, but it didn't rule out any individuals that have ties with the mob being part of the plot. So the Mafia themselves as a group weren't behind it, but they weren't ruling out just, separate individuals. The third one is that the Cubans did it. And why a lot of people do believe this is that US agents did try to assassinate the Cuban president, who was Fidel Castro. So he decided to assassinate President Kennedy to get back. But both the Warren Commission and the House Committee on Assassinations ruled out any Cuban involvement in his assassination. And something interesting about Castro is that when he was interviewed by Bill Moyers in 1977, he did get told the theory, and he straight up said that the theory was absolute insanity. So, obviously no Cuban involvement with it. The fourth one is that Lyndon B. Johnson did it, and Lyndon B. Johnson, for those of you that don't know, was President Kennedy's vice president at the time. And why people, well, this isn't that why people, but the theory ends up going is that Johnson was motivated by ambition and received help from members of the CIA and wealthy tycoons who believed that they could profit far more under a Johnson administration. Obviously, I don't know. I wasn't around during Johnson's presidency. I don't know how really the country benefited from his presidency at all. But in one version of the theory was that Johnson was aided by CIA official George H.W. Bush, who so happened to be in Dallas the day of the assassination. Honestly, that's just a pure coincidence in my opinion. I highly doubt Johnson was behind it, but who knows? Now, the CIA has been mentioned in majority of the different, Now, the CIA has been mentioned numerous times in the different conspiracies behind his assassination. And part of it is that during the 60s, they did have a reputation for high-level political assassinations. So, that kind of goes for it. Kind of aids in the theory itself. Alright. So one theory suggests that Lee Harvey Oswald was a CIA operative, and agents had actually tampered with his FBI file before and after the investigation to make it appear that he was a communist and lone wolf. But in 1978, the House Committee on Assassinations found that there was no indication that Oswald had ever had contact with the agency. So, these are theories. Obviously, you believe whatever you want to believe. Do I believe a lot of the JFK ones? No. They're mentioned in ways that are possible. They seriously could. I doubt that these things really aided in his assassination. I really truly think it was, just Lee Harvey Oswald. I do believe there's only one shooter. But, oh well. It's history, and maybe, later on down the road, they come across evidence that proves one of these theories correct. I don't know. But I truly do believe the Area 51 conspiracy theory that I just said, however long ago. So those were the theories I had for today. I didn't want to do more than 2 topics because I don't want the video to be too long. And according to my camera, I'm at going on 12 minutes, which is good. It's a short video, but I think I'm only going to stick to doing the 2 theories every other week. I think it's working. Anyway, so that's all I have for you guys today. I'm gonna play my computer. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. This video was really one of my favorite ones so far to make, just because I'm a history person and I got to talk about the JFK assassination a little bit and see the different theories that there are behind his assassination. So I think it's really cool to see what different theories people have, and if you have more theories on his assassination, that'd be really, sounds bad, but it'd be really cool if you would be willing to share it with me, because maybe I'll talk about it in a later video and revisit the topic. Because there's another theory about the amount of people that were in the car with him. I don't remember what it was. It's like people remember there being only 4, and it's actually there's 6 or whatever. I don't know, something like that. But yeah. So if you did like the video, honestly, do give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I hope you really did truly enjoy it. And I have other videos on the channel that are similar. I have one from way when I first started the channel, back in January or February. That's nothing but Disney conspiracies about the parks. So this is definitely a topic I'm going to continue doing, is conspiracy theories. Just like the Mandela effects, I'm going to keep doing that until people get tired of them. Or if I just can't find any more. Whatever happens first, I guess. So yeah. Oh! And please, 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 please share my videos with your friends and family. Because you'll never know if they'll like it or not until they watch them. And 9 out of 10 times, from what I've been told, people like my videos. People like them. They think it's funny. And I don't know why. I've never had someone actually complain about my channel. My coworkers show their friends, and they come back and say that their friends thought it was hilarious. And I don't know why. But I guess I'm a funny person, according to my coworkers. But yeah, definitely share the channel. Share a video with your friends and family. I bet they'll like it. I have some topics on here that they'll like. If they're into the Kennedys, this video works perfectly for them. But anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. My phone's ringing, so I gotta go. I'll see you all next time. second. My dogs like to come in one at a time. They don't like to come in all at once.